Hi guys, this is the second of the videos today, and we're on Zambia now. So it confused me in the first video, but here goes. As the indigenous hunter-gatherer occupants of Zambia began to be displaced and absorbed by more advanced migrating tribes around 2,000 years ago, as major waves of Bantu-speaking immigrants kind of thing began in the 15th century, with the greatest influx between the late 17th and early 19th centuries, as the case came primarily from the Luba and Lunda tribes, as the south of the Southern Democratic Republic of Congo and northern Angola. In the 19th century, there was an additional influx of Ngoni people from the south, escaping the Fekane, spelled Mfecane, and by the latter part of the century, the various peoples of Zambia were largely established in the areas that they currently occupy. And except for the occasional Portuguese explorer, the area lay untouched by Europeans for centuries, until after the mid-19th century, where it was penetrated by more Western explorers, missionaries and traders, as David Livingstone came in 1855. He was the first European to see the magnificent the waterfalls of the Zambezi River and all. And he named the fall after Queen Victoria, and the Zambian town near the falls was named after him. In 1888, Cecil Rhodes, spearheading the British commercial and political interest in Central Africa, obtained a mineral right concession from local chiefs. As I say, in the same year, Northern Southern Rhodesia, now Zambia and Zimbabwe, were proclaimed and brought into the British sphere of influence. Southern Rhodesia was annexed formally and granted self-government in 1923, and the administration of Northern Rhodesia was transferred to the British colonial office in 1924 as a protectorate. And in 1953, both Rhodesias were joined with what is now Malawi to form a federation of Rhodesia and Nyasaland, as Northern Rhodesia was the centre of much of turmoil and crisis that characterised the federation in its last years. At the core of the controversy was an insistent African demands of greater participation in government and European fears of losing political control. The two-stage election. As a two-stage election held in October and December 1962 resulted in an African majority in the Legislative Council, and an uneasy coalition of the two African nationalist parties, as the Council passed a resolution calling for Northern Rhodesia secession from the Federation, demanding full internal self-government under the new constitution and new National Assembly, based on a broader, more democratic franchise. As on the 31st of December 1963, the Federation was dissolved and Northern Rhodesia became a Republic of Zambia. On the 24th of October 1964, as independence, despite its considerable mineral wealth, Zambia faced major challenges, as domestically there were few trained and educated Zimbabweans capable of running the government, but the economy was largely dependent on foreign expertise. As three of Zambia's neighbours, Southern Rhodesia and the Portuguese colonies of Mozambique and Angola, remained under white-dominated rule, while Rhodesia's white-ruled government unilaterally declared independence in 1965, and in addition, Zambia shared a border with South African-controlled Southwest Africa, what is now Namibia. Zambia's sympathies lay with forces opposing colonial or white-dominated rule, particularly in southern Rhodesia, and during the next decade in actively supported movements for the United Liberation of Angola (UNITA), the Zimbabwe African People's Union (ZAPU), the African National Congress of South Africa (ANC), and the Southwest Africa People Organisation (SWAPO). The conflicts with Rhodesia resulted in the closing of Zambia's borders with the country and severe problems with international transport and power supply. However, the Kariba hydroelectric station on the Zambezi River provided sufficient capacity to satisfy the country's requirements for electricity, as a railroad to the Tanzanian port of Dar es Salaam, built with Chinese assistance, reduced Zambia's dependence on railroad lines to South Africa and west through the increasingly troubled Angola. And by the late 70s, Mozambique and Angola had gained their independence from Angola. Zimbabwe achieved independence in accordance to the 1979 Lancaster House Agreement, but Zambia's problems was not yet solved, as a civil war from the former Portuguese colonies generated refugees and caused continuing transportation problems, as a Benguela Railroad, which extended west through Angola, was essentially closed to traffic from Zambia, and by the late 1970s, Zambia's strong support from the ANC, which had its external headquarters in Lusaka, created security problems as South Africa raided ANC targets in Zambia. And by the mid-70s, the price of copper, which was at the time the principal export from Zambia, suffered a severe decline worldwide as Zambia turned to foreign and international lenders for relief as the copper prices remained depressed. It became increasingly difficult to service, and as a result they were going into more and more debt, and by the mid-1990s, despite limited relief, Zambia's per capita foreign debt remained among the highest in the world. As Zambia is located in the central region of southern Africa, the population is sizable of slightly more than 16.21 million, as the area has been inhabited since prehistoric times. By a number of more indigenous tribes, as the country came under British rule in the 19th and 20th centuries, earning its independence as recently as 1964. As during its time as a British colony, English became the official language of the country, used in government, business, and education, as English continues to be the official language of Zambia today. However, English in the country is unique, as it's influenced by local accents, grammatical changes, particularly with phrasal adverbs and object pronouns, and the inclusion of words from local languages, as the English spoken in the country can be referred to as Zambian English. And in addition to the English language, the government of Zambia also recognises 7 official regional languages, as the regional languages include Bemba, Rian, Tonga, Lozi, Lunda, Kande, and Luvale. As regional languages are taught as a public school system at the primary level, depending on which region you come from, as the government makes some public announcements in official regional languages. And of these official of these languages, Bemba is the most widely spoken, as it's understood as either first or second language by about 50% of the population, according to the census from 2000. As it belongs to the Niger-Congo family, it is considered a Bantu language, as is used by the Bemba people. It is primarily concentrated in the northeastern areas, and is most commonly heard in the following, in like some of the regions of Zambia, like Moshinga, Lupola, and Copperbelt. And like the northern province, the speakers of Bemba report that the language is divided into two further groups. The older traditional form used in rural areas, and newer recently developed form primarily used in urban areas. As a newer form of Bemba, also referred to as town Bemba, relies heavily on borrowed words from English, as Bemba is also used in Tanzania and Democratic Republic of Congo, and has over 4 million speakers. Like who use it as a first language kind of thing. As the residents of Zambia use a number of indigenous languages in addition to the regional languages. And as in total, Zambians speak over 72 regional indigenous languages. Some linguists, however, believe this number to be small, as they consider some of these dialects rather than distinct languages. As some of the indigenous languages include Sori, Kwandi, Chikunda, and Tumbuka, and Bunda. And although Tumbuka has the largest number of speakers with about 2.6 million, and is used in a wide range of countries, including Tanzania and Malawi. As the majority of Tumbuka speakers live in Malawi, as it is a Bantu language that belongs to the Niger-Congo language family. It is the same language group previously mentioned in Guyana, and is used in Zambia. It is primarily concentrated in the Lundaza region, and it may also be referred to as a Chitumbuka language, which means it belongs to the Tumbuka people. When there's the legend of Yami Yami, as the Yami Yami is known as the Zambezi river god, and the Tonga people of the southern province believe it to be their protector, as according to legend, Yami Yami, his wife, lived at the site of the Kariba Dam, whose construction in 1956 led to the tribe and animals being displaced. As according to the legend, Yami Yami was angered because the dam led to him being separated from his wife, and in his fury he unleashed floods in 1957, which were the worst in 100 years. And a year later, 17 people working on the dam died, an event which locals attributed to Yami Yami not being asked permission before the dam was being built, as Yami Yami is depicted as a creature with kind of like a fish for a head and the body of a serpent. So yeah, now try and picture that for you. Try and picture that in your head. I'll leave that with you for now, and yeah, bye for now, and I'll see you all soon.